So I've gotten a ton of messages over the last 7 days about everything that's going on with my health. So I figured I'd make a quick video here and kind of clear the air. And that question is, how did I end up with a stage 3 lymphoma diagnosis at age 47? So it really began in late July. She and I went to Myrtle Beach for vacation for a few days. When we came back, I went back to work, and suddenly my job began to feel more difficult. I wasn't moving as fast. I was getting tired. I just felt crummy, but I pushed it aside because I, I'm pretty dedicated to my job. I just looked at Sheena and I said, I'm getting old. I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm not getting enough calories. Um, I'm just going to keep going. It'll get better. Well, throughout the month of August and September, it didn't get better. It actually got worse. A lot worse. So, a week ago, last Monday, I went to work. I drove out to Virginia Beach like I always do. And I started making my delivery, and I just felt dead. What normally would have taken 2 hours took me close to three and a half. And I texted my boss and said, I'm done. And I came back to Richmond, and I immediately drove to Henrico Doctors Hospital, to the ER. But there's more to the story. A month ago, I woke up with a completely distended belly, almost like I had a basketball in my stomach. It was hard, and it was completely expanded. Um, this is on a Monday morning, also. And I remember the night before I made some macaroni and cheese at home, but I put too much salt in it. So I just assumed I was holding on to water and it would go away after a couple of days. Well, it didn't go away. So I just kept going to work, and I kept going to work. So a week and a half after I woke up with a distended belly, I messaged my sister-in-law, who is a very high-level nurse. I said, I think there's something wrong with me. And we talked about my symptoms. And she said, well, try some laxatives. So I get home, I try laxatives. Nothing. I decide to go to patient first the next day. I go to patient first. They do chest x-rays. They do blood work. And my iron hemoglobin is half of what it should be. Uh, Almost so low that I require a blood transfusion, but I didn't get one. They don't know what's wrong with me. The doctor says, get a CT scan and go to a GI doctor. I'm like, well, a CT scan sounds really expensive, so I didn't do it. Fast forward to this last Monday. I drive home after bailing on my route. I head directly to the ER and I said, give me a CT scan. So I get a CT scan at the ER. 2 hours later, the doctor pokes his head in the door and he says, we have your results. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Lymphoma. And then he shuts the door. So that's how I found out I have cancer. So obviously when he says lymphoma, I know I'm not leaving the hospital. So they wheel me upstairs and they poke and prod me everywhere. I get a biopsy, paracentesis. Paracentesis is when they put a needle in your stomach and basically drain all the fluid, and a colonoscopy and an EGD. Um, they drained 5.5 liters out of my abdomen. Thank God it was tested and it didn't come back as cancerous. Colonoscopy came back basically normal, no cancer. EGD, I have some problems in my throat related to heartburn and the bariatric surgery I had 5 years ago, but no cancer. But basically, my chest is full of stage 3 malignant lymphoma. Um, the doctors were like super careful with their words since the biopsy's not back yet. Um, but I kept prodding and prodding to try to get an answer. I've cried a lot. I've been mad. I've been sad. I've been a lot of things. I immediately texted my boss and her supervisor and was like, I'm done for a while. And they immediately responded with, we're behind you. HR reached out to me. Thank God I didn't get fired. A lot of places you say, hey, I have stage 3 cancer, and they're like, you're fired. So I'm very, very lucky. My wife, Sheena, is being amazing, and we're scared. But once this biopsy results come back, there's lots of different types of lymphomas. I'm kind of hoping it's non-Hodgkin's, but there's no way to know. But there will be chemo, and will be months and months worth. So prayers are definitely appreciated, and the foster family is going to find a way to get through this. All right, everybody, take care.